Hello. So this morning I decided to go on my morning walk, and I decided to change it up and go to the park nearby that's right along the lake. And I do this because I find water very peaceful, soothing to me, and also it helps rebalance me and bring me closer to my spirit. So once again, this has happened recently a few times. I did that and I started feeling more power coming online, in the sense of I started getting more clear about things that matter to me in life. Now I'm actually shooting this video in front of some type of coniferous tree on a side street nearby. And at first I wasn't going to shoot here because I realized I'm actually right across from someone's house, and the first panic button was, what are they going to think of me if they see me, some random dude shooting a video in front of a tree? So I went back to the park and tried to shoot it there, but it was way too loud because there's traffic nearby and because there's the lake, which is kind of choppy right now. So I came back here to face the fear, to face the potential for embarrassment or shame of like, what the hell are you doing? And being like, I don't care what you think of me. I want to shoot this video here. And I didn't even wake up this morning or go to the park planning to shoot a video. In fact, I haven't shot a video in some time. And it's funny because shooting the video reminds me of a time in my life years ago when I did start shooting more informative, self-help, journal type videos that helped give me a sense of purpose. Because this morning I woke with the clarity of, I really don't feel like I have much purpose in my life right now. And primarily that is coming through work. I've realized, I think that's different for some people, and that you can find purpose in a lot of different things in life. For some people it might be a relationship, it might be their children, it might be a hobby or a vocation outside of them that they do. It might be even something as simple as gardening. But for me, a lot of it is work related. And so if I don't feel a sense of purpose in the work I'm doing, depression is just usually the immediate result of just like, I feel like I have no purpose. I feel valueless. I'm not needed. I'm not here to give myself. So I'm working that out in my own way. But right now, shooting this video sounds like a good idea because maybe I do have something to give to the world in this video. So bear with me as I work out through this process. My name's Aaron. I go by 1111life on my videos. And I'm here to tell you today, and I'm here to tell myself today, and to remind myself even, do what is important to you. Do what matters to you. I've read so much online and educated myself so much online, and I believe everyone preaches what they preach and knows to be true for them, or they preach someone else's, sermon and not their own. Follow your bliss, follow your passion, do what you love, do what you're good at is something I've tried to abide by at times in my life. Do what you're valuable at. And today, relating to the idea of purpose or a sense of meaning or value in life, why you are here, why you exist. You exist primarily for yourself, but really after you're feeding yourself and breathing and living, what are you going to do here? You got something to do, right? And we're not here just to serve in the sense of like slavery to a system. We're here to feel the fullness of this human experience, which includes everything. Which is to say that there is some truth in all these preachings, but I don't believe that they are all one thing that you should follow. Perhaps it's even true with what I'm saying. Because if you say, do what you love, well, then you might only just do what you literally love. And the thing is, I believe that what you can do, what you're good at, or what's important to you, or what may give you bliss or may give you joy isn't always going to feel like that. And sometimes it might be a real pain in the ass, or be aggravating, or be fatiguing. But pray to God it's not draining, because if it's draining, that's not a good thing. That's probably not the path for you. I'll give you an example, because we look for this so much in, work. But let's talk everyday life, because how you feel about yourself and how you're living is really going to be based upon how do you feel when you get up in the morning? How do you feel starting your day? What do you have to look forward to? There was a point about a year and a half ago when I hit rock bottom, and to some degree I've been in rock bottom the last 2 years. And the only thing I had to look forward to was to taking vacation to Thailand, to Australia. Now, mind you, this is all a dream. This is a bucket list. This was, I don't even know how I'm going to get there. Clearly I have to save money to get there, but like the timeline of it, I don't know, the next few years. And then I realized, I could travel to Thailand cheaper because of the difference in currency. But nevertheless, it gave me that hope. It gave me that inspiration of like, I have something to live for. Okay? And so to me, that's part of like my overhead vision of life and my overhead things to look forward to and to live for. Like I'm looking forward to losing weight. I'm looking forward to going to an amusement park nearby called Cedar Point that I haven't been to in like over 10 years. And I can only go there because I'll finally lose weight to go there to ride on these coasters. And those are things like daily I can look forward to, but really like what matters to me is what I'm doing every single day to look forward to. And that determines my overall sense of how I'm feeling about myself. So while those are all long-term things to look forward to, and some of them I see progress on, like if I'm losing weight, I see slowly progress on, which keeps me going a little bit. But it's what I've noticed is what I'm doing day to day, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, what I'm looking forward to there, where I find a sense of purpose there. And that is the overall determinant of how I feel about myself and my life and what I'm doing and the direction if I'm on the right path. Sure, I have my dreams. Sure, I have things on my bucket list that I want to do and achieve, to consume, to experience, to have, or even just to give and do. But yeah, it's the everyday. And so the next realization was, well, what's important to me? As someone who was raised to be a caretaker, I was raised to be a more dominant feminine role when I'm actually more masculine. To take care of people and take responsibility for them and to bear the weight of them. All my life, I've lost what's important to me. I've lost what's of value to me, and in fact, it was completely opposite. I did not feel important, and I did not feel valued, and I did not feel worthwhile. And my whole life, I've struggled with this grayness, this fogness of what's important to me, but it was always the opposite. I always knew what was important to everyone else, and taking care of their needs, or that just what was outside of me was more important than me. In the last few years, especially the last 2 years, it's been a real struggle for me retraining that script. And it's not easy. Doing this internal work, when you start saying no to all this stuff out here that now you're saying does not matter to me because it's not important to me, and then the slow, sometimes painful process of realizing, wait, what actually is important to me? And I'm saying I'm important. What's actually important to me? So, as someone who in his entire life has struggled finding purpose and has found it at times, and I wonder if some people, this doesn't even come up in their life because they're not that in touch with their soul, because I feel what is the feeling of a sense of purpose is related to the soul. They're either just not in touch with it at that, at that level, or the people who do, they are really in touch with it. They are really in touch with the idea of the soul, the spirit, because it really resonates to why they are here. This is why I exist. This is why I came here. I came here to be alive, but I came here to be so much more. I came here to do something. I came here to give. I came here to work. But in that sense, not work as in like job, in the sense of like I am applying myself, I'm applying my skills, I'm applying what is I can do. And when I complete that, when I do that, when I experience that, I feel great. I feel a sense of pride, I feel greatness. I feel alive, I feel right, I feel belonging, I feel purpose. So, what I'm preaching today is to do what is important to you. And I mentioned you can discover this in your everyday life. What is important to you, what is not important to you. And stop doing the things that are not important to you. And if you're someone like me who has had codependent tendencies or caretaking tendencies, or someone who doesn't know very well what's important to them or what's of value to them, you might be way more in touch with what's in value or important to someone else. And it's time to take a deep look at yourself and a deep look at your everyday life and see what's important to you or not important to you. Because you should be doing what's important to you, what matters to you, and keep doing that. And the primary example is, doing what you need, and there's doing what you want. And sometimes we can't do what we want right now. And that's called delayed gratification. And sometimes doing what we want isn't even what we truly want. And so we have free will, we have willpower, we can still go through it. And we'll discover if we really truly needed it or wanted it. But we had it. It's fine. It's okay. We're allowed. But when you look at your needs are almost always a given of what's important to you. Take a look at laundry. Something every day, something weekly, if you're keeping up on it. I would hope not every day, but in the sense of like, this is a common thing you do often. Just like feeding yourself. Just like companionship. Just like sex. Just like how you commute yourself to work, if you commute yourself to work. It's just like being connected to your spiritual side and taking care of yourself and taking care of your humanity by giving yourself time and space to recuperate, to replenish, to nourish yourself. These things are important. They're important to me, and I feel that they should be important to you too. But let's start off with laundry. Does anyone actually like to do laundry? There might be some people that find pleasure in it, and if that's your thing, go for it. But I would probably beckon to think, and I definitely agree. It's just, there's something to feel good about it, which is you can feel good about having it done, and you can feel good about having the clean clothes for whatever you need to do, to go to work, to get dressed for the day. But it's when that pile of laundry is there and it needs to be done and the work needs to be done, how often do we actually feel inspired to do it? How often do we feel lazy about it? But it's something that needs to be done. It is a basic survival need, and it's part of being a responsible adult. It's what the kids these days would call adulting. And it's not someone else's job, it's your job. So get it done and get it taken care of. And you'll feel good about it when you're done with it. But let's see here. It's a need. How often do people want to do laundry? Think about what you want in life and what you really want, and think about what you need and what needs to be done. Like, you need to feed yourself. You need to not go hungry. You need energy for the day, right? And there's what you need to eat and there's what you want to eat. If you're on a diet, like I'm on a diet right now, there's what I want to eat and there's what I need to eat. And like for me being on the diet, me restricting my calories, I got to listen a lot more to what I need to eat, because what I want to eat is a lot more of fried chicken with fried potatoes, kind of grease. And I can have that, I just need to cut down on how much of it I eat, even though I want to eat more of it. Because my dominant intention and what's important to me is to lose weight. Because I need to lose weight. So, what this is saying is that your needs are important to you. As someone who has a codependent history, as someone who pays attention to everyone else's needs and taking care of them and listening to them and doing things for them and taking responsibility for them and their emotions, I've been way more in touch with everyone else's needs than my own. Which means if I don't know my own needs, I don't know what's important to me. I don't know how to take care of myself. I don't know how to be responsible for myself. Well, certainly I've been in touch with what I want, but knowing what you need is incredibly important. Knowing what you need to be happy, to be satisfied, to be fulfilled, to feel at peace. And because it's not that hard. You get angry. You get pissed off and annoyed when certain things happen that you really don't like, because that anger is cueing to you something about your needs are not getting met right now, and you have two options: stand up and speak for them and demand it or request it, or change the situation, leave the situation, or alter the situation, or do something different that will start getting your needs being met, because that's important to you. Because regardless of whatever that need may be, for me, a need of mine, what is important to me, is having peace and quiet and having a relaxing household to live in. And I don't always get that right now. And when I'm not getting that, and when I can't get that, or the sense that I can't have that, my anger lurker is way up. Because for me, I can't enjoy what I'm doing when there's screaming or yelling or crying going on. And that's just me, and that's just how I am, and needs are so highly personal. So, going back to the idea of doing what's important to you. To me, what's important to me, for example, might be having a really good cup of coffee. To someone else, it doesn't matter. They don't care. They're not interested. It doesn't matter. They'll take whatever cup of coffee. For me, what's important to me is putting good food in my body and drinking good drinks. So like I drink good coffee. I'll drink good tea. I try to eat as well as I can. That is important to me. For someone else, it's not important to them. So I can have a sense of pride. I can have a sense of satisfaction, fulfillment, that I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this to take care of myself. And doing this and doing what matters to me does make me feel a little bit having a sense of purpose in life. That I'm here to do this. But for someone like me who looks for a lot in the job, going back to all these lower teachings, one of the jobs I held that I felt I had a sense of purpose in, a sense of pride in, there was a few of them. One was I was a projectionist at a movie theater, and the other was being a barista. In both those jobs, I felt important, and doing the work felt important to me. And I realized there's a lot of different factors that play into a job, like the people you work with are important. There's other little things like how far the job is, the hours, some things that we call deal breakers. But really the role that you're doing, you should feel that you want to do it and that it matters to you and that it's important to you. And to me, it was important, and it mattered because coffee at that time in my life really mattered to me and was important to me. And I wanted to share that with the world, and I wanted to be part of that. And when I was a projectionist, there was a lot of curiosity, there was a lot of pride in the work of putting on a great presentation for someone watching a movie, and that was really important to me. And the lesson here is that I didn't always love it. Sometimes it was a pain in the butt. Sometimes being a projectionist was aggravating when something went wrong in the projection booth, or when things just went haywire. Sometimes being a barista would just be, there was some customers, or it'd be really intense, a little bit demanding work, and being on my legs all day long. Sometimes I would get really tired being a barista. In the early mornings, sometimes would really tire me out. So there was definitely those moments that I didn't always love it, or didn't give me bliss. But there was, of course, times where it did. And in that sense, there is truth to that. But for where I'm at in life, and where you may be at as well, where I'm in the process of deciding what I'm doing next, what can I do next, I found myself being in a pattern of being so picky, waiting for the feeling of what to do next. And now I'm at a point where I'm disregarding the feelings, because it's like, I need to do something. And yeah, there's what I want to do, and maybe discovering what I want to do, but if I don't know what I want to do, I still gotta do something. And in the process of doing it, I would expect that I'll gain more clarity on what I want to do, and if this is important to me or not. But at least if I start off with, maybe this line of work seems important to me, maybe this job I can feel important to me. Just like the other day, I applied to be a stocker at a grocery store because it was new and different, and also was a little bit of a challenge. And the company that it's for seems like it'd be a really good company to work for and pay their employees well, and the co-workers seem like they'd be good people to work with, even the customers. But at the end of the day, it's just like, I don't want to be a stocker. It doesn't matter where I'm stocking. I mean, I can do it, but to me it's like a physical labor type job, and maybe I'll get a little bit of a sense of pride in it, but sooner or later I'll just be bored with it, and I'll feel like I'm not using the skills I have innate in me, which are more mental, creative, imaginative, spiritual, cognitive, and even technical. And so I realized this isn't important to me. So that's where I'm at in my life right now, is I'm in a process of rediscovering what is important to me and what's not important to you. And whatever is not important to you, don't do it, or plan to leave it or cut it out of your life. And I would beckon to think there's probably still some things, that there's probably a ratio of things in life that are just part of the package deal of the circumstances. Life is not perfect, circumstances are not perfect, so there's probably going to be some things that we do that aren't that as important to us, but we do it, or it's not, it's not way up on that list. But I would beckon to think, 70 to 80% of our time should be spent doing the things that are important to us, doing the things that please us, doing the things that we want to do for us, and knowing full well that they're not always going to bring us pleasure or joy or bliss or passion. There are times where we may feel even bored or stalled with the work we do, or the situation we're in, or maybe we've grown even a little numb or out of touch. But if it's important to us to be in this situation, to be doing this, to be having this relationship, to have this connection, if it's important to us, then that is a great starting point. But if it's not important to you, if whatever situation you're in, let alone the ratio of your entire life, is really not skewed in that favor, it's time to make some serious major changes and just face it to the fact, because your happiness, your well-being is really at risk. It's more at risk than you taking any risk to change it. That's all for now. Goodbye, friends.